Madumema Africa, le hlokonolo boikhutso le kagiso mo phelong ba lona kaofela. Ladies and gentlemen, today ke ya go bolela ka Sihle Lonzi, the president of the Youth League of the Economic Freedom Fighters. The young man is doing a good job in parliament. He's doing a fantastic job, in fact. Listen, you guys remember 2-3 weeks ago, I made a video about Sihle Lonzi, who was grilling Umasilela, the Treasurer General of the ANC Youth League, who was applying for the vacant position of the board of the NYDA. So he was one of the shortlisted candidates and he was being interviewed and grilled there in parliament. Sihle Lonzi identified some errors, for a lack of a better word, in his CV that were not accurate. And Mr. Masilela tried to justify those errors and everything, but Sihle Lonzi was not having any of it. Today, they are doing their final scoring of those candidates because they need to make recommendations to the president so that he can, appoint the new board of the NYDA. Listen, the NYDA almost sits with a budget of almost of 1 billion. You can imagine they've got big influence, and the youth depends on the National Youth Development Agency to stimulate their business to a point where they can have a good head start, So Sihle Lonzi is now sitting there and saying, I'm not going to be intimidated by people that want to cover corruption. We must be transparent as much as possible, and we must show South Africa that the people that we are appointing are ethically sound, with no question behind it. So I'm very interested to break down this video for you guys that is making rounds on social media about Sihle Lonzi, the president of the Youth League of the Economic Freedom Fighters. Let's talk about that much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Zinjiva Ngwane Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're talking the president of the Economic Freedom Fighters, member of Parliament, Sihle Lonzi, who's doing a fantastic job there in one of the committees there. Yeah, he's causing commotion there. But before we do that, let me bring you guys up to speed, give you an update on what we are doing with the school that Unomfundo has identified for us. Unomfundo answered the cry that I had that can we please identify one school in the Eastern Cape that has got a pit toilet and try to build them, dignified toilets. We want to do flushing toilets, of course, and we want to check what are the challenges. Why is it that these schools don't have flushing toilets? Over 500 schools in the Eastern Cape has got pit toilets, and some of them, the conditions are simply unacceptable, and we cannot allow that in our watch, ladies and gentlemen. So the school we identified was Mabentseni School, primary school. The principal of that school is Mr. Wulana, Mr. MP Wulana, and the school is in a location called Mabentseni, and it's in the municipality called Intsika Yetu municipality. So that's where we are trying to assist. We have identified many schools, but this school particular icon, we cannot accept. So where we are right now, we are engaging the principal to find quotations for the material that we need to buy and build those toilets, and we will see what we're going to do with the borehole and the water, because the area itself does not have water. Imagine. So we might need to buy maybe 2 JoJo tanks or something like that. I don't know how is that going to help with people that don't have water, but the mission will be we want to build respectable toilets for that school. So thank you so much to Sis Nomfundo and Ubaba Khatebe for supporting us in this quest of trying to solve that school. So I'll keep on updating you. This process is going to take months, guys. It's not going to be, I don't want to do it next month or whatever. We don't have the money to do that. But slowly but surely, sometime when I'm finished collecting all the data that we need and the cost that is going to be in front of us, then I'll make the announcement to you guys for the contributions. Okay, so give me some time on that one. Be patient with me. The one you don't need to be patient with in terms of donation is the gala dinner that we are having on the 2nd of May here in Kimberley, the Diamond City. The gala dinner is a fundraising event for the school that we are trying to build, PASETA, the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. So we would like to see you, your partner, your friends, your frenemies here in Kimberley to come and observe the presentation of PASETA and also network, spend a night with us with some good music, entertainment, networking and all of that stuff. So please go to www.paseta.co.za. That is where you can find the details on how you can make your bookings formally. Please guys, there is a WhatsApp number there. Make sure that you send a WhatsApp there to make sure that you send a proof of payment or whatever so that we can confirm and put you guys on the list. Okay, the ticket sales are still going slow, but I know in 15-25 end of the month we are going to sell out this venue. Thank you so much guys for everything. Okay, Sihle Lonzi is our young brother who's doing a fantastic job there in Parliament. He's frying them there. He's not playing around. We have always criticized members of Parliament that spend the whole year in Parliament and we never hear their voice. I'm one of those people to say, who are these other members of the EFF? Where are they? Where is their voice? The ANC, who are these members? What are they there for? Are they there to cast a vote when their party says let's lean left or let's lean right? Or are they selected because there is quality in them? Well, with Sihle Lonzi, you don't have to ask any of those questions because the young man is powerful indeed. The CIC did not make a mistake. I jealous down Mona Pansi Lapa. So I want us to listen to him grilling the house there, the committee there, and saying, listen, people, we are not going to be intimidated here. We are here to work and we are going to make sure that people hear that we are ethically correct in the decisions that we are making. Let's quickly listen to Sihle Lonzi and then we break it down.
And we really want to thank every young person in South Africa who would have been following these proceedings. Because the NYDA chair must serve the youth of South Africa. And it's in public interest that the youth of South Africa must understand what is the caliber of leadership that will form part of a board of the NYDA. It's public interest in South Africa to know that these people who are sending to be board candidates, are they ethical individuals? It's public interest. The youth and the people of South Africa need to know, are we dealing with ethical people here who are going to preside over a budget that is close to 1 billion rand annually? The people of South Africa need to know if there is a whistleblower or if there are allegations against the falsification of qualifications of particular candidates. It's not interrogation. It's public interest. The people of South Africa, it's a people's parliament. There's a reason why these proceedings are live. Otherwise, we're supposed to meet in a corner somewhere in some restaurant and have a discussion amongst ourselves, and then that's it. So I don't know why people now are suddenly becoming defensive or they are being angry because we have potentially shown the public that some of these candidates may not necessarily have the ethical stature that we're looking for to lead the NYDA. It was not a fight. It was a question to say, can we trust these people with the public purse? And we had to take each and every candidate through that particular process. Now,
beautiful. Listen, Sihle Lonzi is not playing around. The NYDA, indeed, it is there to serve the interest of the youth of South Africa. And it is public interest, of course, to understand that the people who are on that board are ethically sound, because they are ruling over a lot of money, almost 1 billion, I think 800 and something million. It's a lot of money. And remember, I did point out the other time that most of that money goes to salaries. These people are well paid. They are well paid, these people. So there was a whistleblower who have said, listen, be careful of this Zwelo Masilela, because there is some falsification in his CVs, meaning that he lied in his CVs. And not only there's the typos that was there also. And for this reason, that is why these interviews are broken down in front of us live. And Sihle Lonzi is quite correct. We need to see who are these candidates. They're going to earn a lot of money and they carry a lot of power in reducing unemployment in South Africa. So, we must understand each and every candidate that morally and ethically they are sound. There must be no question about it. Listen, long gone are the days where the ANC used to do what they used to do. Covering for each other. We can go down memory lane and see many ANC cadres that have fake masters, fake their qualification. We can go down memory lane. I don't have to do that to embarrass Abantu Bam, but you guys know who those people are. So for me, it's a beautiful job that Sihle Lonzi is doing. So he also covered the issue of the act, saying people must, when on the appointment, they must be 35 years or younger, and the Poppy Act and everything like that. So I want us to listen to him break that down, because people are saying now there's a breakage of the Poppy Act, and that is not true. But Sihle Lonzi explains it very well by saying this.
Process. Now, I am happy because I listened very attentively to the presentation of Dr. Tembe. Dr. Tembe, the first thing he did, he agreed with the point that I raised last week, to say the act is saying someone must be 35 by the time of appointment. And even last week, if you remember, people became extremely defensive. And I'm saying, this is what the act is saying. I agree with what the honorable member is saying previously, but I also think it's being unfair on Dr. Tembe. Dr. Tembe can't rewrite how the act writes certain sentences or how it words certain things. He's got to read it as it is. If this committee then feels that this act is not worded correctly, or this act is not specific on certain issues, then this committee is empowered by Parliament to go into a process of an amendment of a particular act. It's what has happened in many other committees. This committee has done that before.
And we will do that.
So I'm happy that Dr. Tembe says, in as far as the act is concerned, this process was very seamless. I'm happy that Dr. Tembe doesn't make mention of the frivolous claims of Popia, which are coming. I'm very happy he didn't talk about that. That's why I won't even entertain the letter that you got, Chair. I think if people have money to waste in the courts of South Africa, they can go and do that. So I'm happy he didn't mention any of that, because in as far as the Popia Act is concerned, if people really understand the Popia Act, this committee did everything possible to protect the information of candidates. We hid their ID numbers. We hid certain parts in the CVs, certain things. That's why we had a special file that we couldn't leave and we couldn't go out with it. So everything that we did was in line with the Popia Act. Now, if people are just going to come and make such claims, and write to you unnecessary letters, Chair, let them do that. We'll meet in court.
No, listen, we will meet them in court. The reason why Sihle Lonzi is saying that is because there's some ANC people who are not happy from that dunderhead of a president of the Youth League, Colin Malaji. What a dunderhead that thing is. Oh my goodness. He was making noise trying to defend Masilela's positions in terms of the mistakes that were probably mistakes that were made deliberately in that CV, thinking that everything will go right, because the ANC still carries a majority in terms of the numbers of candidates in these committees. In most committees, the ANC will carry the majority, and they will just need the other parties to just vote with them, a few other parties to vote with them. They don't necessarily mean that if the EFF does not want this candidate, whatever, the candidate is not going to go through. The ANC can still influence the DA and the other parties, and the MK and the EFF cannot stop them. But anyways, the Poppy Act is a very serious act. Private information must not be leaked into the public. But to hell with that. You are faking qualifications in your CV that you submitted. You say you graduated in 2011, can't you graduated in 2022, only to find out it looks like you never graduated at all. You see, those type of errors cannot be allowed. So thank God for the whistleblowers, because it's not like they are sharing with us ID numbers and all of those things. But what I want you guys to listen to is the authority in which this young man speaks, man. He breaks everything down. I love listening to Sihlelozi. So let me stop talking and listen more to Sihlelozi.
But we are happy if we have demonstrated to the people of South Africa that we've scrutinized these candidates to the fullest ability. I don't know why people have a problem with us asking candidates questions that are related to their CVs. Because these CVs were not the ones who wrote them. The candidates are the ones who wrote CVs and submitted the CVs to Parliament. So how can a member of Parliament then say, you are not supposed to ask a candidate about their CV? But they wrote this thing to us.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Nzi.
No, I must make this point, Chair, because you've allowed other members to speak. They've mentioned our names, and you didn't want us to disrupt you when they were speaking. So we have to respond to those things, because it's going to create a very wrong impression to the public. So I don't know why people will say you can't ask about a CV. If someone comes here and says, I've got 10 years experience. Now, as members of Parliament at this level, we must just accept that this person has 10 years experience because they wrote it on their CV that they have 10 years experience. We ought to ask them to say, but my man, how do you have 10 years experience? Because this contradicts another aspect in your particular CV. By the way, Chair, we even got to reveal something, leave the other investigations and the whistleblowers. Through that scrutinization of the CV, the candidate admits and says there was a typo.
Okay, but Honorable
That is something that we've managed to achieve. Now, if we're going to listen to what the fellow members of Parliament are saying, that we were not supposed to scrutinize, it means this Parliament was going to run with the impression that that candidate graduated in 2011, when by his own admission he's saying, I graduated in 2021. So why would someone have a problem with that particular revelation unless you are hiding something from the people of South Africa? So we are not part of any agenda that seeks to hide anything from the people of South Africa. If there are candidates who potentially committed a crime, who falsified the CV, who cheated Parliament, who lied to Parliament, who submitted false qualifications to other departments and municipalities in South Africa, we must be able to expose it here in Parliament, not behind closed doors, not anywhere else in Parliament. And if people want to defend criminals, if people want to defend criminality because it's the political party position they were given before they come to this committee, then they will be charged for that. But we must be able to say to the people of South Africa, even when certain members of Parliament wanted to defend a crime, we stood alone even though we stood on our own. It's fine. History will absolve us, because very soon investigations are going to take place, certain revelations are going to be made. The people of South Africa must ask, when this question came before Parliament, which side were you standing on? Were you defending this, or were you exposing it to the people? So we're not shaken by people who are insecure about their candidates and all of those things.
What a beautiful presentation by Sihlelozi. Young man, is such a young man, 27 years old. 27 years old. The EFF builds them well, eh? The EFF builds them well. I can't lie to you guys. Julius Sello Malema must be very proud wherever he is with this young man. Ayinsimbi lentwana le. Ayinsimbi. Engagobeki serious. Yo, indoda emadodeni kahle uSihlelozi. You know, they are very happy, like Sihlelozi, to scrutinize everybody, every candidate that sits there in front of them, because they cannot allow people to do misinformation and they look away. They need to question people according to their CVs. You bring your CV, you put it in front of us. You can't say your name is Kagiso Mashishi. Well, your name is Kagiso Hlongwane. You can't say you worked here for 3 years while you worked there for 2 years. You can't say you graduated on this year while you graduated on another year, or whether you didn't graduate at all. You can't play around with people like that. You can't play around with things like that. So I'm very happy that even the typos were identified and everything. So it is the seriousness of this issue is that it is criminal. It is totally criminal to write things that are not true in your CV. You are lying to Parliament. You are lying to Parliament. And also, if you lied, the problem with Masilela, the thing that you will understand very soon, because the EFF did go to the public protector about this matter, is that you will get investigated and you will expose your previous employers, you will expose yourself, you might be incriminated because of that. You might go to jail because of lying like this on your CV. You understand? And I'm not saying he's lying. The perception is that he might have lied and everything because there is a whistleblower. So all that information we are waiting to see if indeed it is going to be true or what. But you cannot play around with information like that. You cannot. And I like what Sihle Lonzi is saying, because this is my point for people that go to Parliament. He says the people will question where did we stand when things like this were happening. I always want a politician to have this in the back of his mind when he's offered bribery, when he's offered to look away in a criminal act, when he's offered to keep quiet, when he's offered a parliamentarian and a politician must always ask himself, what will people say? But anyways, let's continue listening to Sihle Lonzi. Okay, this will be the last clip here, because I don't want this video to be long. Let's listen to Lonzi.
And I think, again, it's this culture of hiding things that don't need to be hidden to the people of South Africa. Because we scored these candidates one by one. So why are we hiding that, no, this candidate got 50 and this got what? No, I'm saying you'll clarify it for me, but I must mention it because the people of South Africa know that we have scored these candidates, but we're hiding their scores. The same way we wanted to hide that people falsified their CV, want to hide that someone graduated in 2021, you want to hide that someone has a typo in the CV. I don't understand this.
Okay, thank you.
This must be a transparent process. So please try to clarify. I believe that the people of South Africa know that we scored these people, and we must be able to put their scores there. And that will be the truest report to Parliament. Because when you give President Cyril Ramaphosa and Parliament, you must be able to say, this is what we have scored these people. Because now it just creates an impression that we just got a list of names from nowhere and we don't know where we got them. And then the last point I want to make, Chair, I know people are getting touched because they were sent to come and defend wrong things. But we're here to speak truth to power.
Chair, if
it's
I
our
may,
character.
I just before he proceeds, I think it is an injustice to all members of this portfolio committee if we continue to allow such conduct. We respect you as the chairperson of this portfolio committee, and I think that should apply to all members in this particular portfolio committee. You have requested for him to conclude multiple times, and he clearly is not going to take that instruction. But I think this then sets a very negative and wrong precedence, and Chair cannot be allowed.
Lonzi, because I want Dr. Tembe to guide us in terms of the issue of the scores.
No, I know I will conclude, Chair.
For electioneering.
Okay, please.
No,
You see, Chair,
Thank you so much. Can I hand over to Honourable Mabel?
when you are sent to come and defend the wrong things in Parliament,
Okay, but also, Honourable Megan is rounding up.
I
then I'll give
understand
over to you.
the fire shame. The member was sent to defend wrong things.
Thank you,
So
Honourable
I'm
Lonzi.
very patient.
He
So-
must indicate I was
So
sent by
the last point
No,
that
Chair, I cannot accept that.
Honourable
And I must
Lonzi,
be
please.
protected as a member of this
the last-
You
portfolio
are
committee.
protected. Can you please just...
is interrupting me. The member is interrupting me. What she said,
Okay, Honourable Lonzi, thank you very
No,
much.
but I've got the last point that I want to
Yes,
make. I was
please.
disrupted here.
Please round up.
Chair, I'm saying the whistleblower evidence that you have received, I believe that must be made available to all members of Parliament because it's a very important information. Even the frivolous letter you must give us so that we can see and
I will be guided with Dr.
rubbish it,
Tembe in terms of
so
that.
I think in the spirit of transparency, everything that the committee receives from the public, it must be shared with us. If it's confidential, we will find creative ways, like last week, of having a bulk file so that we can see the totis that we're dealing with in South Africa. Thank you.
Guys, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. You know, I keep on making a noise to say political parties must take these recordings of their members participating in these committees and post it all over social media. It's very important to show the people the quality that they have voted for that is representing them in parliament. It's very important. So Sihle Lonzi is covering a very crucial issue because, like I said, in previous times, most of the NYDA boards were coming from the ANC Youth League. Most of them, they were coming from there. Very unlikely would one person slick in and become a board member because they were using it as a tool to loot money for even the ANC youth. And that is the honest truth. When you look at the people who have benefited, there are a lot who benefited who are not ANC, but those who got the big amounts, you will find out they are somehow connected to the ANC. That's why the ANC is not comfortable with just letting all of that money being ruled by someone who is not politically associated or even who's not coming from the ANC. That's why Lodzi is saying this culture of just hiding information must stop. Must stop. You are no longer in power. You are no longer in power. You are not going to bulldoze people with your numbers in parliament. They still can now, but they need other people now. They can't do it alone. You know, they could, previously they could just make recommendations as they wanted to the president. If you remember carefully, the recommendation for the Chief Justice, it was not Zondo. Parliament recommended someone else, and the president recommended appointed Uzondo. It was Chief Justice Nandi or something like that. So I'm very happy to see that even that lady of the ANC is not comfortable with sitting just there and listening to Ulonzi going there. She's burning in the seat, and like Ulonzi saying, they were sent to protect their interest. And it's not going to help. Like I said, Masilela might even end up in jail for this stunt that they tried to do. And I agree. The information of the whistleblower must be made publicly. And unfortunately, his life is going to be destroyed. It's not something that I'm happy with. But unfortunately, these people have been looting us as a country for many years. And the time has come that the chicken has come home to roast. It is time for these people to eat the meal that they have prepared, for lack of a better phrase or anything. So, you know, Parliament is not a place to play. That's why I said when Gideon McKenzie was busy sending 21-year-olds and 20-year-olds to Parliament, trying to make inclusion with the colored people and not choosing quality, he brought comedians and put them in Parliament. You know, there was another lady, Stacy from Kimberley, my queen, nothing against you, who had no business to be in Parliament, because even with politics, she's not active in politics in the city that she comes from. She was just propelled because she's good in media. She's good in media, and I told you can't just take Uking because Uking has got a nice podcast, of which I do. People don't have time to watch Parliament. People watch King Said So. If you look at the stats internationally, you will see that people watch King Said So's reviews. But anyways, on a more serious note, you can't just take King just because Umuntu can talk on podcast and think that that person will do well in Parliament. Icon. No, there must be requirements to be in Parliament, Buffett. This rubbish must stop. So I'm quite interested to hear your thoughts about Sihle Lonzi. Very impressed. I'm very impressed, ladies and gentlemen, by the young man. I'm very impressed. 27 years old. So if we add 10 more years, he's still not going to be 40 years. This is the next EFF president. I mean, if we add 10 more years, this powerful young man, short, chubby, powerful young man, Xhosa man, will not be 40 years, 10 years from now. This is the people that I say the EFF must cook, take care of. And you know, we know how sensitive politicians are. I don't put too much pressure on this guy. No, we could identify that Julius Malema was going to be a great leader back when he was in the Youth League. Why can't we do the same with Ulonzi? Why can't we do the same? Labo Madala, our Julius, 10 years from now, we'll be calling them Abu Madala. And we'll be wanting these young men to take over. And what quality are we going to get? Perfect. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Leave your thoughts on the comment section. Let me hear what you're saying about the thoughts that Ulonzi has broken down for us. Thank you so much for watching. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace. Pan-Africanism. I salute you.